I did it again. Perfect timing. End of the track. How do I do it? It is a mystery. Oh, sorry, this mic is not sitting right. Hey, oh, wait. Hey. How y'all doing? I don't know which way to comb my hair anymore. There we go. That's the way. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the stream. It's starting. Yes, it is. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Best background music, truly. Always want to always hear it anywhere on the web. Most people don't know Thematic exactly. That's it is a lot of in a lot of places. I've come across it many times myself. It's a bit weird, eh? How's a star? How you doing? Welcome. YouTube meet Twitch, Twitch meet YouTube. Everyone, chat amongst yourselves. And to answer your question, Seth, well, how do you write music? I don't know. How do you write music? One does not simply write music. It's also like, I don't write music anymore. I don't like sit at a piano and write notes on a page anymore. So, I mean, I'm so far removed from writing. more like recording. That's what I do. I record many times with many different sounds. And apparently that counts. Apparently that counts, everyone. YouTube frogs, indeed. How's everyone been? I was only here like 4 days ago. I was here on Friday. What's going on? So maybe not much has happened. I don't know. 10 minutes waiting stream. It's better than 90% of background stuff available. Now that's nice. That's so nice. Thank you, Gabby. And thank you, D-Gabe. For SDI, thank you for the follow. How you doing? Now, I don't know whether this will work today, but if there are alerts for YouTube, they should appear on stream. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm still very like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Does anyone know? Yes, actually, it's true. They do know far more than I do. Maybe. Imagine in 50 years' time. Oh, that mic just peaked. Imagine in 50 years' time, people looking back on people like me writing music on a computer. What we'll be doing in the future? It'll be all AI, right? It'll be all AI writing music. We don't have to do anything. You know? Who needs the hassle of sitting down and being a creative person when you can get a computer to do it for you? Who wants to fulfill their lives with creative, work? Don't have to do that in the future. It's pretty cool. Really excited. Really excited for all of you young folks to get to deal with that. Oh, Miller, I'm so sorry. That's okay. Give him my regards. What the hell was that? One moment. Whole bunch of rubbish just fell on the floor. I'll have to clean that up later. Isn't that great? Our studio is a bit of a mess at the moment. We need to do a clean out. We do need to do a clean out. I'll live. It's fine. Nothing's broken. It's just a lot of paper on the floor now. Minara TV, hey, how you doing? I'm trying to think of hello in French. But I can't think of it. Bonjour. Bonjour, Minar. That's it. Oh boy. The Doctor of Clean, that's me. That is my job now. Don't get replaced by a computer TV. I will try not to. It's kind of out of my control though. AI music has no soul even though it was available. It's to prefer music. Yeah, I agree. I mean, what's the point of doing any of this? What's the point of music and art? Like, I don't understand people sometimes. But I'm not sure what to do that. I'm pretty sure my music is in these, whatever these engines are doing, these AI models. I'm sure my music's been put in there without me knowing. It's the problem of having your music available, you know, is that it's available to everyone. I also came across someone shared a video on Twitter this morning of some of my music being used at a live event in Russia, the unveiling of a new drone that's being used against Ukraine. Like, fucking hate it. Like, hate it. I don't know what to do, you know, but it's like, there's so much good that comes from releasing music like the way I do, but there's also some horrible things that happen too. Anyway, only so much you can do. Really big enjoyer of my music, been listening for ages. Hope you never get replaced. Thank you, TV. Appreciate it. You have lots of similar music usage, do you, Yannick? It's a bit depressing. And there's only so much you can do. I've thought about maybe making my music a little less easy to access, in terms of like, you may have to like log into the website to get that to the downloads. To like stop a little bit of the just free-for-all that happens. But I don't know how people would appreciate that. I don't know. Campaigns for certain people, yeah. I mean, I know my music's been used for Trump rallies and crap like that. I know that for a fact. And obviously I remember that, like, I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago my music was used as like some part of some campaign for Bolsonaro in Brazil. And there was a whole weird backlash to do with that as well. Because I ended up DMCAing the campaign, because they didn't actually credit me in this campaign, so I had, you know, the right to remove the content. But then it was like, I don't know, it was not a fun time. Not a fun time to be on Twitter at that point. Never dealt with that kind of crap before. Weird left-wing people and right-wing people all kind of going crazy at each other. Anyway, we're not here to talk politics. We're just, it's like, this is the reality of some music sometimes, you know. Cloud for computer science advantage for this is our downfall. I agree. Unlikely Hydra. I mean, AI has some great application, and I've seen it used amazingly in biomedical science. Even when I was working as a scientist in Sweden, I had colleagues who were using it to. I might turn the music down a little bit. Using AI models to predict protein folding. So they were studying a particular protein in plant cells. To do with amino acid transport. It's really hard to do, and it's also like it's hard to do on your own, and then without the resources to do it, like a lot of manpower and a lot of funding, like it's impossible to do. And it's because this protein was interesting to them, but not very interesting to everybody else. You know, it's interesting to their research only. So they used AI to predict how this protein might look in 3 dimensions, and from that they can predict how the protein might function. You know, so if they fold it in this way, or a certain amino acid chain changes, the protein folds a little bit differently, and it might change how the protein functions. It's really interesting stuff, and the fact that you can do that now with AI is amazing, and it means that research can speed up. You know, that kind of stuff is perfect use case for AI. Making art, and like making music with AI. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? So there's good uses and there's bad uses, I think. Anyway. AI, man. AI. Without knowing much about it, my friend used one of my favorite tracks in a video like 4 to 5 years ago. It almost makes me jealous that he found me first. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, said it's like, it's so easy. It's so easy to just give credit, right? Not hard. Mainly use the AI to take your name off your music and put mine on. Oh, perfect, Bernie. That's actually an excellent use case for it. You bastard. How you doing, Bernie? Jay, how you doing? Hello. Just got off to a pretty dark start of the stream, haven't we? I'm so sad about my job. I'm so sad about the state of the industry. Ho hum. Next, I try to describe your music, but in general, feel like have a unique way of connecting your songs to nature and scenes, similar to the way nature can evoke emotion. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel like I want my music to have this kind of like that sort of deep emotional resonance with people, more than like just like a generic, stock bit of music would. I feel otherwise it's not worth doing. It's not worth making music if you're not trying to do something with it, I think. So I appreciate that. I really do. Had a great dinner, Jay. That's awesome. How about myself? I had breakfast. I had yogurt. I had some yogurt and some muesli and some cut up pear. It was very nice. And lots of coffee. Always lots of coffee. Yogurt. The yogurt is also cursed. Gabby, thank you. Haven't had yogurt in a while. Sounds amazing. Yeah, totally. I totally 100% recommend yogurt. It's not all bad. Yeah, science purposes, he said, sounds really interesting, but man, I really end up like factories taking jobs if it's perfected. Yeah, I don't know what to do. There are composers to do some battle music for Skywind. Oh, really? Oh, Yannick. Maybe I should hit them up. Finally get to write for an Elder Scrolls game, even though it's not the real one. Thank you, Jay. I'm trying to decide whether I should release that, the app stuff score, because it's mostly the same track with a few changes from the one from Lucky. What was it? Lucky Notebook. I should do it? Okay. I mean, I'm sure people will listen to it, yeah. More jazz is needed. Lucky Block Staff. That's the one. My god, my brain today is not doing good. I'd say it's Monday, but I don't think it's that. I think it's just me. Alright, well, I'll try and organize a music video this afternoon then. See what I can do. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, Alan Becker he's an animator. He released a small animation on the weekend, and I had music in it. I scored him some music in, and debating about whether to put it up or not. I usually put them up, but it's kind of like a reusing of old material in a way. So, Pascal, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I hope it's useful. Do you have a favorite track? It's like an impossible question, but how about something you are particularly proud of? Whoa. It's a good question, D-Gabe. I don't know. Probably things like... It's maybe more music that I'm proud of than one particular track, but... stuff like This Too Shall Pass and I Walk with Ghosts. Those are kinds of tracks that I think I probably resonate with most. I feel like it's been a long time since I figured out what kind of music sort of speaks like represents me, I guess. So there's a lot of my career has been spent making music that I think other people would like, and like for people to use in stuff. So it's never been like, but what do I want to write? No, it's more like I need to write stuff that other people can use. You know what I mean? So I think tracks like, This Too Shall Pass were sort of my first proper forays into a style of music that I felt, wow, this is actually, I like this and I want to do more of this. Like, it's like it's something that I feel like is me, my insides coming out a little bit into the music for the first time. And so that's nice. That's really nice. Kind of like, you finally found that voice that you were looking for all those years. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's probably those tracks. And similar ones like Chasing Daylight's also another nice track, I think. Race the Sun's good, yes. That's a good example of like me trying to take some of the learnings from those more neoclassical tracks I was talking about into more bigger epic work. And I want to do more of that too, Miller. Absolutely. Three Sheets to the Wind, I love that. I love that track too. Yeah, I'm really fond of that one too. I am actually really proud of Three Sheets of the Wind, because that was at the time, quite a challenging track to pull off, because yeah, it's just hard to get that orchestration right. Shadows and Dust, oh, that's awesome, epic. I think that one gets not so much love. Those ambient tracks sometimes kind of, fall under the radar sometimes, I think. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. That one's kind of following up on like tracks like Decoherence, which is like that really sort of slow moving, I don't know, just making more atmosphere rather than actual melodic content, you know what I mean? Age of Wonder is really good. Age of Wonder was a really good track. Proud of that one. Really felt big, Love those ambient tracks. That's cool. I should do more of them. I should do more. Oh, you like Ashes, DK? Also another one. Sort of fallen away. The ambient tracks are good noise for when you're working. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, Undertow I'm proud of. Undertow I'm really proud of because I wrote that track when I had like a portable rig. I was working in Sydney at a university and was away from the computer, and so I made a little small lightweight laptop rig to write while I was there, and I wrote Undertow while I was there. It was like working with a limited palette was really good because it meant that you could just really focus on, writing rather than finding the perfect sounds and all that sort of thing. Not that I do that much, but anyway, it was nice. Really proud that I was able to do that in that space. Three Shoots of the Wind, yes, good track. I agree. Because it's very How to Train Your Dragon, that one. I think I said in the description for that one, it's like I almost called it. What did I almost call it? How to Drain Your Flagon. As quite a nod. How to Drain Your Flagon, because it's very crazy. Yeah, it's kind of raucous, but I thought maybe it was a bit too close to How to Train Your Dragon, and How to Drain Your Flagon also sounds a little bit euphemistic, if you know what I mean. Well, you kind of can if you want TV. Yeah, How to Drain Your Flagon. So if you don't know what a flagon is, a mug, a mug of beer. think of mug of beer. But How to Drain Your Flagon also has that sort of feeling of something else. which I won't say. Which I won't say out loud. Yeah, no to this decision paralysis, exactly, DA. I don't suffer that too much, but it was kind of nice to feel like, you know, this is all I've got to work with, so this is fine. Like, whatever I do is going to be fine, you know? You got it. You got it, Hydra. Alright. It does sound like that true, but also like sailing. True. Yeah. So the 3 sheets of the wind. Does anyone actually know? Maybe not everyone actually thinks of 3 sheets of wind as a like a saying. So 3 sheets of the wind, at least in Australian English, I'm sure it comes from British slang, but it means to be completely drunk. So that's the vibe of that's what 3 sheets of the wind kind of means. But it's also a sailing term, to be like full sails, high seas, adventure kind of thing. Yeah, that's what it means. 3 sheets of the I'm 3 sheets of the wind, bloody hell. All you young'uns in chat. You're learning. You're here learning today. How do I come up with the titles? With great difficulty, D-Gabe. Great difficulty. My wife helps a lot. She's often got some far better ideas than I have. But it's really challenging. Really challenging. I got my flagon. Yep. My cup o' grog. I mean, I have used AI to sort of help me figure out some ideas for titles. Yes. But that's the worst I do, I guess. It's not so bad. You got cereal. Okay, that'll do too. What's this one in the background? The Climb. Which was named after the poem that was read at Biden's inauguration. Because I was kind of hopefully optimistic at that point. You know what I mean? I thought maybe the worst was behind it. Oh well. Oh well, hey. Have you got any advice about how to start making music? I'm very new to this. Okay. I never know how to answer these questions properly, but I would probably say, first of all, find an instrument that you like and start learning how to play it. That's probably a good place to start. So I didn't really choose. I think my mum forced me onto piano. So I learned how to play piano first. Actually, only. I don't really play any other instrument. So I want to learn how to play violin and clarinet. Those are my 2 current desires. But so I learned how to play piano, and I played that a lot. I played that, all through my childhood, through my teens. Doing exams and things, so I got reasonably good at it, but then I kind of quit and I don't really play much anymore. But it's set me up really well for what I do now, because I'm using a keyboard to do a lot of entry of music into the system. So it was a good instrument to choose, I think. But like just learning music, I think, is a good place to start. So just start playing and making music. And then, I don't know, after that, once you've got a good feeling for music and how music works, like it pays a lot to listen to a lot of music as well, and not just listen in the fact that I like bopping along to music, but learning how to listen critically to music. I think that's been a very important part of the process for me, is to actually learn how to listen critically. How to listen critically. So, yeah. Man, just chill it, buddy. Just stop. No need to spam chat, guys. How's the new place for recording some strings, violin for example? Would the crows win it? Yes. Yes, they would. There's not really good, really great acoustics in here, and there's no sound treatment rather than what, you know, just to listen to things. So it's not great. It's not great, but you know, you could probably swing it, I reckon. We're considering taking there's another studio, like a space that's available. Well, not available right now, but it will be available soonish, across the hall. And I thought maybe that would be a cool space to be able to record stuff in. But I don't know. I've actually I want to record stuff as well. I don't always have the desire to. Okay, man. Sorry, buddy. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. No spam in chat. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not worth just taking a space just because I want to record some things possibly in the future. And also, you know, it costs money. Things cost money now. You know, when you rent a space, it costs money. Don't like that. Don't like that much. Active listening is huge in music making. I agree, Epic. Yeah. I think I said this a lot last stream as well. Is that you can? I've learnt a lot just by actively copying people, not releasing that music, but like just doing taking a piece of music and just like trying to reproduce it using samples. 1 minute of ads. I'm so sorry, guys. It's nearly over. It's nearly over. Those poor Twitch folks. If you move over to YouTube, I don't think you guys get ads, do you? I don't think you do. Yeah, and learning music theory is also good. I agree. It's hard to know how much you need to know. I learned a lot by doing piano. I had to do a lot of music theory exams, and so they teach you about, you know, chord progressions, cadences, and harmonization, and all these kinds of, you know, things that you learn by doing these music theory degrees, I guess. Not really a degree, but and so that's definitely helpful for like allowing you to deconstruct music further. You know, if you can hear what's actually happening, you know, the sort of kinds of chords that are being made by instruments in the track you're listening to, that definitely helps. It definitely helps. You love music theory? Wow. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. Music theory is right up there with maths. Not everyone's really super appreciative of it, I don't think. Welcome back, Twitch. I'm so sorry about the ads. You persevered. You came through. Yeah, exactly, Sid. It's like learning how to draw. You take other people's art and try drawing that themselves. Exactly. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you respect the art that you're using and don't try to, like, you know, claim it as your own or misuse it in any way. There's nothing wrong with, like, just using their music to play and learn. Absolutely. Yeah. No, music theory is good. There's a few YouTube channels that are probably good places to start with. I'm trying to think of one. Guy Micklemore. He's like a British composer who has a quite a big YouTube channel. I forget what his YouTube channel is called though. Does anyone remember? Because it's not his name. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is now. If you look up Guy, G-U-Y, Guy Micklemore, he does a lot of different things, but it's also, there's a lot of like, your first lessons in music theory. I think that'd be a good place to start. Yeah, and Rick Beato's interesting. He's got a lot of older material that does that sort of more theory-based sort of stuff. He doesn't do so much of it anymore, though. But I still would think it'd be on his channel. Rick Beato's more, I don't know, he seems nice, but he's like, he also, music these days. But I mostly agree with him too. But, that's telling of me and my age too now. Oh yeah, let's do that. Guy Micklemore. There you go. Oh, and forget the backslash. What is that bird? I know, it's a crow. These are our friends that join us every morning. They just like to sit out in a tree out the back of the studio here, and there's not much I can do about it. We just have to live with that, I think. Yeah, Venus Theory is pretty good too, yeah. He's got some good insights. And he's also now a AAA game composer, which is I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I don't know. Ravensham, how you doing? I'm alright. I think I'm alright. We haven't got much music done today, have we? I need to be on Just Chatting or something on Twitch. So we are going to work on some music today, I swear. We did work on a track on Friday. It's like this sort of weird, dark, atonal kind of action suspense track. I don't know what it is, but might continue that, see where it heads today. Thank you, Yannick. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like it's like now knowing and hearing what he did, it's like I can do that. I'm more than capable of doing music for these games, Like I feel like I should just be doing this. Why am I not doing it? Anyway, the games I'm working on now are gonna do fine. Like I know that both Menace and Falling Frontier are in the top like 100 most wish-listed games on Steam, which is really exciting. So they'll get hopefully help with getting my name out there a little bit. We'll see. As the Crow something something. Yeah, it does sound like a good title. That's definitely like it reminds me of like an album name for like, oh, what was that? Forgotten the name. I used to listen to her all the time in the 90s. Nope, it's gone. My brain today. Crowbar. That would just be a good name for a bar, right? The Crowbar. I'm going out of the Crowbar. I'm gonna have a few drinks with my mates. Game we worked on is finally dead and buried. Oh no! So I never made it out. Sorry, Yannick. That blows. So much work just down the drain. Do you get to keep the music though? You get to do something with it? I don't know what you do with it. You need a library like I do and just plonk it out there. Going nuts trying to find the right scores to use. Your library is so large, it's hard to find what I'm looking for. Okay. be the Hans Zimmer of video games. I could be. Or I could be the Scott Buckley of video games. Why not? Actually, I went to a concert on Friday. It was all Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer music, played by the Queensland Symphony Orchestra. Which is very good. But also a bit weird sometimes. I feel like the way that... I find it interesting. I'm not going to be able to go to... Like, Hans is actually coming to Brisbane as well with his travelling band of musos. It would have been good to see, but I think I've missed out on tickets. But what was I trying to say? But I find that Hans's music doesn't necessarily translate very well to the concert hall. So this was a concert, by our local orchestra. They're a great orchestra, by the way. Really, really good. But the thing about Hans's music, it's very produced, Like, if you go, say, listen to John Williams' music, it is the orchestra, Like, it is purely what the orchestra plays is what's recorded for the soundtrack, Like, there's not much anyway, not much added stuff afterwards. It's just purely the performance of the orchestra. So John Williams' music translates to the concert hall perfectly because there is nothing you have to do to make it sound full and complete, because that is what it is. It is the orchestra. Hans Zimmer's music, for how great it is, like, it is very good music, but to translate it to sound somewhat similar to what the soundtrack sounds like, what you would have heard in the film, you have to kind of produce the sound a bit. And so the orchestras have to be like mic'd up in a way that then the sound mix can balance this with, like, guitars and drum kits and synthesizers. So there's all these sort of things that are, all these extra things that are happening, and like, it's a very produced sound. And it doesn't translate so well, I feel, to like a live orchestral sort of thing. Quite often, just the bass will just be so overpowering, all of a sudden, that you just can't hear anything going on in the strings, or the drums that are so loud that they haven't balanced everything properly, and like bless them, they're trying their best, but it's like doesn't always work, doesn't always work. So that's why probably seeing Hans would be the best way to experience his music in a live performance thing, because he would have complete control over how it sounds, whereas these guys were just kind of doing their best. What if he brings samples on the road? I imagine he would. I imagine he has like a whole rig with his like full sound, mostly anyway, ready to go, I would imagine. Is it just you or Hans Zimmer falling off? I don't know. I mean, he's getting up there in years now. Like, I'm sure he's not working as much as he used to, Mr. Pickle. He's just probably good. I mean, the work he's done for Dune is amazing. Really, really, really love the Dune scores. He's done such a good job with those. Him and I guess his team. It's not just him. You know what I mean? Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, Americans? I suppose if you're in America, it's probably not quite a Memorial Day yet, I'm guessing. Did they have any video tied to the songs of the show? No, they didn't. But they did have... So there's this cool podcast. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. They haven't done a great deal of actual episodes lately, but it's called Art of the Score. So it's a few Australians who talk about film music. That is like one's an academic at a university here. One is a creative director for the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, I think, and the other one is actually was the conductor, I think, for the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. I don't know, but three guys who are very into music in their various ways, and they talk about film music, and they go in quite a lot more depth, kind of like a documentary style, not like behind the scenes sort of thing, but like pulling apart the music. So this is actually probably a good podcast for anyone who's like, I'm talking about like listening critically to music. This is actually a good like a way to get into that, particularly for film, if you're interested in film music, because they sort of do pull the music apart in a way that's really interesting. You know, you start to really learn more about the reasons why the music came into being, and you know, and what they're doing, what the composer's doing to actually, you know, to create this evocative sound that you're so familiar with. I really highly recommend. It's called Art of the Score. Go and check them out. They haven't put out anything since like 2024 last year, like January last year, but they've got a bit of a back catalogue, so it's like, and it's all pretty timeless. So I recommend checking them out. He's got a big button Dune sound. He totally does, yeah. Watchdog maybe was talking about purposely not using video during his live performances. Ah, okay. Maybe he just wants the music to stand on its own, maybe? I don't know. He probably also doesn't have to deal with the legal consequences of having to show footage from studio films. That probably would be expensive. That's okay, TV. I mean, you don't have to have your... I don't know if you know, but your caps lock is on. I'm not that bothered. Maybe others will be bothered by that, though. Okay. Should we make some music? The caps lock is intentional. Okay. Okay. You do you, TV. Alright. So I'll turn this music down. This is currently Chasing Daylight. But you're not going to hear it anymore. It's gone. Alright. I'll go. So let's have a listen to this. This will give me a chance to check if everything's working. Is the mic peaking? I feel like I'm hitting the top of the meter for the mic quite a lot today. Let me know if something sounds weird, alright? And I'll look into it. But yeah, more horror music, Yannick. We'll try and get this finished. Well, not finished, but it's a bit further along. I don't think we'll finish it today. We're talking a lot. We're talking a lot. I mean, one day we should probably do like more of a Q&A, so we can address these things, and I can probably make it a standalone video or something. That's what people do these days. They do live streams and then clip it, right? Is that how it works? I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know how people do things anymore. Sounds fine. Okay. That's good. I'm glad. But that is all we got so far. So it's a bit different to the usual library track, I would say. A little bit darker and more sound designy. Crouch Target and Dragons. I haven't actually listened to that score for so long. I completely forget how that score goes, what it sounds like. Should totally listen to it again. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking is the Jason Graves Dead Space stuff. I'll take that. I'll take that. So I'm thinking for this new section, so this was like a sort of a, I don't know what you'd call this, but it's like this sort of momentary lull with these sort of rises, I guess. And then we're gonna maybe have like maybe some sort of dark melodic content. Have it build again a little bit more, maybe? I don't know. That's what I'll try to do today. I don't know how this will go. We'll see. Can't make heads or tails of this software, that's okay. That's alright. So on the, I can give you a quick rundown. On the left here, these are all my instruments that I'm playing. And then from left to right is time. So I've got bars. Whoa, that was nice. I've got bars up here, counting from left to right. So this is if we go this way, this is the beginning of the track, and this way is the end of the track. And we're essentially just kind of recording stuff over time. And then playing around with it. So all these squiggly lines are doing things to the sound. So it might be simple things like just changing the volume, which this one is. This one is playing around with this program here, which is like a sound manipulator sort of program called Glitchy, which is kind of chopping up the sound, making weird effects out of anything that goes through it. So I'm playing with that. So all these lines are doing various things to change things over time. So yeah, it can get very complex because there's lots of instruments, right? Not all of them are doing anything. So there's lots of stuff down here that I've got loaded, ready to go just in case, but they're not actually playing anything at the moment. But yeah, it does take a bit of getting used to. I suppose it's a simple MIDI program. Good start, I reckon. That was a bit weird. It's not the one I wanted. Or maybe it was. It's just a bit weird. It's a bit too weird. Bit of weird trumpet textures. Editing. In your setup, do you have a surround sound system? I don't. I don't have one. I'm trying to wonder whether I should. I've been watching like a few people like production videos of people working in various spaces, and some of them have like at least a 4, like a, oh god, sorry, I'm sorry, 4 speaker surround setup. But I mean, I don't do a great deal of projects that require me to have a surround mix or deliver a surround mix. So maybe I don't know whether I should bother. But it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't even know what to do in that instance though. I've never really done much mixing in surround. Have you guys had much experience with surround? I did one back in my music degree days. So back in like 2003-4, I think I did for an assignment for like an end of year project. I was scoring a film for a student film, and we actually recorded choir and everything for this. And I did essentially a score in surround as part of that. That was my only experience I've ever done it, and apparently they liked it. They enjoyed what I did with it. So that bodes well if I decide to do it again. But it's not something I don't find myself needing to do anyway. You like your surround sound for all types of music? Okay. I wouldn't even know how to mix it properly. Do you have a subwoofer? No. No, I don't. Think it'd be a good upgrade. I assume Adam does a subwoofer. That would work with my speakers. What's Fury saying is I can hear this descending violin strings bit that would sound really neat with what I have, but I can't hum it through this. Damn it. Damn it, Faye. We'll figure out the tech before the next stream. We can do it. Have the same audio boxes had back in 2016. They're not even good. Bass is broken. Sometimes I don't even need them that often anyway, so replace them is not that necessary. Fair enough. I use my headset, which is kind of broken too. I mean, it's one of those things as well, though. If you get used to the sound, and you know how things should sound on them, then it's kind of fine. Like, you can work with jank speakers as long as you understand what they're doing to the sound. It's not that big a deal. You just gotta get used to them. You know, it takes time to figure out what music should sound like through them. You know what I mean? Just takes time. I end up using these. I use this a lot. So this is a program. I've showed this a few times, but it's a sort of a program that listens to your setup. So it comes with a mic kit, and you sort of record various sounds in your space, and then it sort of corrects and adjusts for the sound of your speakers and the sound of your space to create a flat response. So this is my space and its response. So obviously I've got a pretty big peak, you know, in 120 hertz or something, and there's, you know, dips as well. And then I turn this on and everything sounds, you know, kind of flat. And so I can trust to some extent that these speakers, the thing I'm hearing, you know, when I'm mixing, it's going to be more or less okay. It's been a useful tool, particularly because I don't always work but I don't have the tons of money to make a amazing, perfect space for me to work in. So this has been really helpful. I don't use it at the moment because it would sound really weird to you. If I turn this on, I don't know what it would sound like for you guys. Even though I won't bother. But it would sound really weird to you because it's correcting for my space. Sounds strange. So you got to make sure when you're bouncing music, you got to turn it off. Otherwise, everything is colored very horribly. Got to think rich, Marathon. Just think rich. Tinker. On your way to bed, Brendan? Always use headphones. I'm sure that's the best way to mix, since surround speaker sound is a lot different to, than headphones. And I got the total balance control that allows you to that shows how well your mixing fits into typical mixing. Ah, really? Total balance control. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, I've got some nice headphones, and I don't use them that much, but I've also got a response for them. Actually, there's a lot of canned ones for the headphones that they are familiar with. So they have like a bunch of... There's a version of this software that you can buy. It's just headphones. So if all you do is work on headphones, and you've got a set of headphones that are, you know, more or less like from a reasonably like unknown brand, like Sennheiser or Beyerdynamic or, you know, AKG or whatever, you can get a profile that fits that headphone that you're using, and so you can get a even better balance response from that as well. So it's a little bit cheaper. You don't have to get the microphone sent out to you. You can just use that. And I use this whilst I had to ship, when I was living in Sweden, I had to ship all my music gear, a lot of my music gear off early, but I still needed to work. So I ended up using this in my headphones for a couple of months, I think, and it was really good. It was really good. Very handy, because it just meant that I was, you know, more or less getting a good response. Like I was listening to something that was, you know, fairly flat, and I could actually mix stuff properly for work, and not have too much hassles with things sounding really weird. What's my favorite VST for orchestral music composing, Sean? I don't know. For a long time it was, like, it changes over time, right? At the moment, I use a lot of different little libraries that combine to make my orchestral sound. It used to be that I mostly just used the Hollywood orchestra from East West, and if you're looking for something that's just kind of like an all-in-one kind of thing, it's probably a really good option, because it sounds really good. I still use the brass, like it's still very good instruments. But I've replaced the strings now with performance samples stuff, and I absolutely love Vista. Vista from performance samples is chef's kiss. It's very good. Musio is also really good, Cinesample stuff. If you're on, like, I think they're fairly affordable as well. You have to go. Have a good one, TV. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, but it's probably good to find those libraries that are like an all-in-one, because that means you don't have to keep, you know, trying to find libraries that will fill gaps, because you just have everything sort of there. And I find it's a good way to start like a good starting point, because then you can go and find libraries that fulfill a niche that you're missing. So like, say if you've got the full Hollywood sound, the big orchestral sound, but you want something that's more like intimate chamber strings, and you can go find a library that just does that, but you still got that that full orchestral string library that you started with to fall back on. So it's always good to find like those starting libraries, I guess, to build upon. That's my thought anyway. Headley, thank you. That's great. I'm so glad, Headley. I think this one will be a good one for your camping videos. Some dark horror music. Have a good one, Lincoln. Sleep well. See you next time. I don't know how sort of melodic we should get. Yeah, I know. I'm suddenly sounding like Dark Knight. Oops. Boom, 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 boom. Might just zoom in a bit. Want these to climb up a bit more. Be more growly. David, how you doing? Yeah, I will put up the app stuff video. Thanks, Jay. I will try to figure out what to put in. It's always a challenge, like trying to figure out. Thank you. Trying to figure out what to put in the actual video. It's always a challenge. Trying like these weird pitch bends. We might have to emphasize it a bit more with some other instruments, I reckon. Something that can slide some more. Growly though. I like how growly it gets. I like a bit of growl. Might just need to extend these a bit more. Doesn't really do much, does it? Not much pitch bending happening. Is this the kind of track I would do at like Halloween time? I don't know why I'm doing it now, but hey, it is what it is. Evil elephants. The thing of nightmares. kelpie. A kelpie in Australia is like a cute, like, working dog. I assume that's not what you intend. No, I haven't heard of that one. Edge of Sleep. They got evil elements, but it makes sense. Okay. Alright. No, sure. There's a low brass patch in Hollywood brass called Elephants? Really? I gotta see now. I gotta find out. I don't know why it keeps on popping up down there. Do. Like in low brass. Elephants? What the? Ah! Hear that, guys? I'm kind of curious now. I'm kind of curious. Four, 7. That's pretty cool. Let's add it. Let's do it. Be kind of nice if it lingered. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's quite right, but that is very cool. Thank you for letting me know. I've hardly explored any of these things. What is a hockey rise? A lot of cool stuff in here. There is. I don't know if there would be. I don't know whether there would be a patch for that. I doubt it. Like a controller to help it linger for longer. It's mostly just a recorded performance, I think. But that's okay. Kelpies in Celtic mythology is a horse that lives underwater and eats people. Wow, okay. That's a bit different to a cute little working dog. Spirit creature that disguises as a black horse and then drags people underwater and eats them. Wow. Okay. Well, that definitely is not definitely appropriate music for that then. Definitely. Whoa! Cool it. Nope. Oh, thank you, Yannick. We are saving. What was my first prototype I made with Alan? It was the Showdown, which was like an animation versus animator. I don't know. The numbers have changed, so I don't know what it is anymore. But that was the first one. A few years back now. What do I think about AI? I don't really like it, to be honest. I don't like it. Will it replace composers? I doubt it. I think it will replace some like types of music, though. I think there's a lot of, I think there is probably, it will make its way into a bunch of stuff, I imagine. Particularly like stock music won't be free of AI, I don't think. I'm just not like, I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I don't know how people also respond to it, but I think the general public won't even know. I feel like that's the problem, is that a lot of AI music will make its way into things just like AI art is, and people aren't going to know. They don't know, and I think most people would not. Like, they would want to support composers and they want to listen to music that's made by real people. But I think the risk is that they won't, the general public won't always know. Even artists on Spotify, like you just pull up random music, like all this piano stuff, ambient piano music, that could easily be done by AI, surely. Scary, man. It's really scary. I don't know what the point of it is. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, like, on the music I write, definitely there are stuff in my music that would just easily be done by an AI. I don't know. Why are we doing it? What is the keyboard? Is the keyboard camera new? Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it since I've come back. Well, come back to streaming, so it is kind of newish. Yeah, it is. AI artists are sorry excuses for people. I'm just going to say, yes, I agree. Composers using AI will replace composers not using AI. Yeah, that's possible, Yannick. Yeah. I'm curious to see how that evolves. Because at the moment, I don't know what kind of tools we have to do that with, though, Yannick. Like, there are some stuff out there, like, was it Synplant? Where, like, you're using AI models to generate sounds based on other sounds. There's some interesting uses, I think, but I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. My initial reaction is just to rebel. Like, I don't want to use AI, and so I don't want to have to be forced to use it just because everyone else is. It's like a race to the bottom. Yeah, I haven't ever found anything I'd want to adopt for composing yet. Yeah. And I'm aware as well of the whole, like, the computing power required. If everyone's doing AI stuff, the amount of computing energy we need to do that is just, it's not necessary. We don't have to do that. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Everything's just very miserable at the moment. We're all miserable folks doing miserable things to each other. CJ, have a good one. AI will kill artist creativity if we don't do nothing. I mean, I don't think it'll kill creativity, but it will push artists out, And I don't always agree with the fact that AI art can't elicit a response in someone looking at it. You know, if they didn't know, if you showed some, you know, some music that's been generated by Suno or something, or like a piece of artwork that's been generated in AI that's been, you know, that looks good, like it's flawless, it doesn't have all the weird crap that a lot of AI art seems to have, these weird artifacts and stuff. If you don't see that, it's super apparent, and it's something that's interesting to you, like, you know, a pretty picture of a waterfall, or you know, a sunset or something that, you know, you resonate with, and you weren't aware that it was AI, then it would evoke a certain response in you. I mean, maybe it would not be the same as, say, someone with, you know, their own perspective painting it instead. But it's hard to say. I don't think it's always true. And that's like a difference between, I guess, music, like artwork, and I fall into this category, like music. The music that I write, it sounds nice. You know, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the work that I do. But I'm also writing it in a way that I'm a little bit mindful of how it might be used. You know, so I'm aware that it is production music in a way. You know, that people will use it in their videos, and that's what it is. It's instrumental music that will be used, and that's the prime case for AI music, because it's music. It's production music that it's coming after. Really, that's where it's going to, you know, be used the most, I think. And some of the music that I write is generic, you know, like some of it is a little bit generic, you know, and that's the stuff that will get swallowed up. And so it's the stuff that, like, I think it's the point, like the creativity that I do, like I infuse into my music, like tracks that I'm super proud of, things like, you know, This Too Shall Pass and I Walk With Ghosts, and like I feel like they've got to be hard to emulate, you know, because I've put a little bit of something in me to create them. But is that true for AI? Like, could AI do something that's really interesting and different spontaneously? You know, like everyone says that it can't, but I don't know. When it gets to the point where it can, I'm a bit worried. I don't know. I had to think about all these things. The Enderblade. Have a good one. Anyway, I question everything, because why do we do the things that we do if it's not to somehow, you know, connect with our humanity, and you know, I'm not saying that my music is high art, but I do hope that people resonate with the feelings and the thoughts that I have behind it, you know, or at least knowing that I was there writing every note that they're hearing. Hopefully there's some meaning to that, you know. What's the best DAW and VST to get started with making orchestral music? Any DAW is good. Doesn't really matter, I don't think. It's all open. They're all great. They all do the same thing effectively. You just have to learn them. That's the problem. At least the most successful ones at the moment are probably like things like Reaper. It's got a pretty, like, you can download a trial of it, and I think the cost is pretty low. So you could probably use Reaper and get in pretty cheaply. Cakewalk does have a free version if you go hunting for it. But it's not supported anymore, so I doubt it will get much love and updates, and it maybe get worse to use over time, I think. I mean, I use Cakewalk, it's great. VSTs, I mean, there's plenty of free VSTs out there. If you want to write music like I do, orchestral stuff, there's free stuff. There's Berlin, the Berlin series has a free version from Orchestral Tools as the developer. They make an orchestral series called the Berlin series, and they've got a free version that's really good. Spitfire Audio also has a free orchestral library called BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover. Those are probably great points to start, I reckon. The trial is indefinite. Okay. They tell you it's expired, but you keep using it. Very, very good, Colin. So there you go. Reaper's probably the best way in these days. I guess you just wouldn't get updates, I suppose, but that's fine, I suppose. 2-set violin. Ah. Oh, 2000 Violin's new video on the YouTube. Okay. Oh, we'll check it out, Yannick. Yeah, it's hard to know what to think about these things because as I said, my immediate response is just to like, nope. Nope, I rebel against everything AI. But yeah, I think I need to get a little bit less prejudiced about my views about it because it's not going away, you know. Save it, David. Have a good one. You can still update it too, Colin. No way. Those Reaper devs are really nice. Timpani roll. The only downside is a window that you have to wait 5 seconds to close. Oh, big deal. That's great. Well, not great for them. I suppose a lot of people still end up paying, you know. But also probably a lot don't. But how much do you really need? That is the question. What's going on there? Right, no, I have to like wait like 20 minutes for my template to load sometimes, so it's like 5 seconds ain't nothing. That's nothing. Wait a second. And this would be triplets. Oh wait, triplets. So I'm deciding, guys. There's a conference. This is not music related, science related actually. There's a science conference going on in Edinburgh in maybe a couple of weeks' time. I'm deciding whether I should go to it because I got colleagues presenting there. They're presenting some of my work that I've helped them with, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm missing out. It's like one of the best conferences on the planet. It's Rhizosphere. It's all about plants and soil and roots and microbes, and I don't know. I'm deciding whether I should go, like, pay for my own way to go. I'm feeling a little bit of FOMO. It's a long way to go, and it won't be a cheap trip. I don't know, having one of those moments where it's like, what have I done? Why am I doing what I'm doing? In the end, I probably won't, because I got so much work to do that, like, going overseas for like a week would kind of wreck everything. But I kind of want to go too. I never know what I want to do in my life, you know? What do I want here? I want to, like, kind of... Skittle Q! I'm good. How you doing? Breakfast noise. Tis that time. Something's gonna change there, I think. Whoa. Ah, this brass won't stop. The brass won't stop. Okay. Kind of weird, filtery stuff. Oh, save. These brass notes are kind of kicking my butt. Any chance to release the music for Alan's app stuff? Yes. I was debating about whether I should, because it's using a lot of material that was in Lucky Block stuff. But I will. I will do that. Work on that this afternoon and get it out for you guys. And the AVM, that was a weird one, the mashup one, because there was also a bit of work from their side to sort of do that. So it wasn't entirely me on that one. Because I did some more extended stuff for the Warden, I think, the Warden sequence. But I don't know how I would do it, so I probably won't release that one, Skittle. But just because it's just a bit of a weird, it's a mess. It's a bit of a mess, that one. Why did I make music for the Influence arc? I don't think I was the right choice. I think they, the kind of music they were going for was not what I normally would do or could do. And I think at the time as well, I was really busy with another project. So they had to work with someone else, but that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. That means that other people have a chance to work with Alan. That's cool too. Hey, Excalibur. Favorite score from the AVMs season 3 was The Witch. Nice. A lot of people sleep on The Witch and Piglin War, because those were ones were done after the fact, like for the actual full-length version of season 3, rather than for the episodes. So it's like it was. A lot of people don't actually probably realize that there is actually scores for those episodes too. But that was fun. I like The Witch too. It's got a vibe. What is your favorite creation, not counting Alan Becker's soundtracks? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. Can't say I have a favorite. I like all my music. I like all my children. A lot of folks like Legionnaire. Yeah, that's good. Talking elephants, that's a pretty interesting elephant sound. Hey, Celine, how you going? How are you? Yeah, Chasing Daylight is one of my favorites, Adley. It's a vibe. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick bio break, everyone. I'll be right back. Don't you worry. We're making a little progress today. I feel like we're slowing down though, which is interesting. That's okay. I'll be right back. Oh no, I was muted. I was hanging. Hi, Amanda. How you doing? I do remember you. And I was saying I live in Brisbane. I live in Australia. In a city called Brisbane, and it's very nice most of the year. It's a bit too warm though for my tastes, because I really enjoyed living in Sweden for quite a few years, and I got used to the cold, and coming back here it's just kind of hot all the time. Not a huge fan, but Brisbane's still a cool city though. It's pretty cool. I assume you can hear me now. No one's... I see the mic going and doing things, so yeah. Sorry about the mic. I apologize. I'm not a pro. I'm not a pro at this. I don't know what I'm doing. What? Where is... Oh, it would be cello gliss, I think. Yeah, it does get hot here. There are parts of Australia that do get cool. They don't get, like, you know, much below 0. But cool's good. I would take cool. Oh, sorry, Mr. Sean. So, how long will it take to write music for Alan? Can really depend on the episode. Really depend. But I think usually when I got a project, I would probably put aside like at least a week of work. Not like 9 till midnight every day. It's just, solid work, but that's about like what I would expect, I think. Yeah, it can take some time. Some just take no time. Like it's hard to know. Like, it depends on how much orchestration's needed, what kind of style of music they're going for. Sometimes the music, if it's a little out of my wheelhouse, like the jazz music or something, it does take me a little bit more time, because I actually feel like I'm having to learn how to do it almost at the same time. It's very can be a challenge if you're writing in the style that you're not super familiar with. Yeah, epic. A lot of it is epic. Sorry, speak words. A lot of it is volume modulation. Yeah, but I do have a few things going on, like playing with low pass filters and various things as well. But a lot of volume. I do a lot of volume automation on top of also like I usually have I use a lot of patches that are mod wheel modified for dynamics, and I do a lot of extra volume controlling to help with expression a lot more. That's just the way I've always seemed to have worked. So yeah, Amanda, I don't know if we got confused, but I live in Australia. That's where I live. I live in Brisbane. Do I play it? So I wouldn't post anything of me playing instruments, because I'm not very good at playing instruments. I can play keyboard, like in piano, but I can't say I'm a performer. Like, I don't know how to perform. Even my own music, I would have to go and like sit down for weeks learning how to play it. I just don't know. I'm not a really good performer. So you wouldn't want those videos, guys. That'd be really, really kind of low quality content. Totally fine, Amanda. Molly Mole subscribed. So one of the alerts did work. It's a really old alert, I noticed. Thank you, Molly Mole, if you're watching the stream. Appreciate it. So what's my favorite animation? I think I like the work that they do that's sort of a little bit out there. Like trying something a little bit different. So I really like working on like animation versus maths and animation versus physics, like particularly physics. I think that was probably my favorite, just because it was just such a bizarre story, you know, exploring these concepts of physics. I loved it so much. I had a lot of fun scoring that one. That was really cool. Where is this? Tycho. Yeah, this is a different track. I'm having fun with it. Very growly, very dark. I might actually go... I think the kick is doing something weird. These groove clips don't always work out. Seem to always get them a little wrong every time. I don't know why. That should be a straightforward one. Bounce to clip. Groove clip. No. Nope, fine. What a pain in the butt. Oh, what the? What the heck? I think it, did I do it again? I did. Ah. Alright. Okay. Now we're cooking. Like, this makes you feel like a powerful and godlike. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. This is your anthem. Oops. Copy pasta, everybody. Bounce this to clip. Go here, go blunk. Okay. Been that long, Sean? 5 years. Wow. That's a while. Okay. Oh dear, Headley. Oh dear. What am I doing? I think I want to add little triplety bits on this kick here. And yet it happens all the time, Amanda. Wanna chill? Happens all the time. I assume it's just like typing and spelling errors, but it's pretty funny. Scoot McGee. Brahms, yep. That's where we're at right now. I don't know where we're going. Where are we going? Where are we going? What is with that taiko? Ooh, I like aberration, actually. That's really cool. That's a really cool. It evokes something there. going for it. Oops. Something's wrong there. What's going on? What do I think of Mr. Beast? I don't know. I don't think much of him, actually. Like, don't think about him much. Don't watch much of his stuff, so I can't really comment. You a fan? I've heard, you know, like everyone has, I guess, thoughts about him, don't they? I don't know. Everyone's like, if he's like he's doing great things or he's like ruining YouTube. I don't know what he's doing, so I have not paid that much attention. I will say though, that is really cool, like weird and cool, and I don't know what it is, but like to see his stuff in shops, like, you know, Feastables, Mr. Beast Feastables, whatever it is, in like our local shopping, like grocery store. It's kind of strange. Kind of strange how much reach YouTube has had these days, you know. He has a Amazon show, right? Something on Amazon, like one of his like a TV show. How did that go? How did that go? I have I have seen the Northern Lights, but not. I lived in Sweden for 5 years, and I can't say that I saw a really strong aurora. We saw some pretty faint ones, but I think it was like the period that we were there just wasn't great timing, I guess, for solar activity. But that said, my wife went to, she was in the Northeast US late last year, and she got to see the amazing auroras that were buzzing around at that point. So she finally, after, you know, so many years living in Sweden, she finally got a chance to see what a real aurora looks like. I'm very jealous. Like, it's beautiful. Would have been stunning. So yeah, so I have seen it, but not to the extent that I would have liked, I think. feel like they were there when there was a strong aurora happening where we were living. It was just bad weather. It always works out. It's always very grey skies in Umeo. See a lot in Banff, yeah. Yeah, my parents have been to Banff many moons ago. I'd love to go to Canada. I love to go to Canada. Be like North American Sweden, I reckon. It looks very similar, I imagine. Lots of pine trees everywhere. Should make my own figure on YouTube's. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. I think YouTube's are gonna, want to work with me though. Apparently, Nguyen, you didn't have to go as far as Hobart to see it though. Like when it gets really strong, you can just go. I remember there was like photos from like central New South Wales, which is like not that far. Maybe 5 hours, 6 hours drive from where we are now. Just go inland and get some dark sky. It seems like when it's really strong, you can be pretty much anywhere. You'll see something. Banff is a lot of Australians. There's seasonal work up on the ski hills. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. They would. Anyone who has been looking for like an absolute, I guess, tree change from what Australia is like, that'd be it, right? That'd be amazing. Yeah, I'll get there. I had quite a few friends I think who have done that. They've gone and moved to Canada and just never came back. Not friends, acquaintances, I guess. No, never had a pleasure of a tornado. Thank goodness. How about you? You're the storm chaser. Have you seen a tornado? Tornadoes are scary and creepy AF. Yeah, I bet. Your birthday's on the 29th. Happy birthday. Happy birthday for the 29th. That's 3 days away. Very cool. Doing anything crazy? Doing anything crazy for your birthday? A lot of mosquitoes in Brisbane? There can be. Yeah, there can be, but not where we are at the moment. If you lived more closer to the bush or whatever, you probably have more issues. But I think the worst mosquitoes I've ever had was living in Sweden, actually. Like, the the seasonal like flare up, like the mosquitoes like having their hurrah in the summertime. Oh my god, I've never experienced anything like it. Like, that's crazy, absolutely crazy. I did not realize this is one thing about like northern parts of the world I didn't realize, was that mosquitoes are a thing. I imagine Canada would have the same issue, maybe. Oh man. But that's horrific. It was horrific experiencing mosquitoes. Doing field work in the summertime was quite an experience. Quite an experience. Best orchestra in Australia? Orchestras are... I mean, I guess Melbourne Symphony Orchestra has its reputation for being kind of our flagship orchestra. But I think they're all pretty good. Like, where I'm, you know, maybe a bit biased, but I think the Queensland Symphony Orchestra is really good. I think they've, like, particularly over the last sort of 15 years, they've really upped their game. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Queensland Symphony Orchestra. How long have I been composing for? Maybe? What year is it now? It's got to be over close to 30 years now. Oh my god. How old am I? But like writing, yeah, 25 years probably, writing more, you know, for work or for projects, or, you know, for something that wasn't just me playing around. Yeah. So I'm so old now, guys. That's not bad, actually. It's Warhammer God of War music. That's what it is. You're right. Where do you get inspiration from my tracks? Everywhere and anywhere? I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is kind of like more like how I'm feeling at a particular time. I find a lot, like I do a lot of I mean, I watch a lot of stuff, and we see a lot of stuff and hear a lot of stuff, go to a lot of orchestras. We see a lot of films. You know, so I'm reading a lot of books. I read a lot of fiction, science fiction, and so like all these stories. I mean, I'm really big into stories, and I think I think the one thing that my music I like to try to do with my music is to tell a story with my music. And so it's like from all these places, I think I find ideas and feelings and that sort of stuff coming into my music that way. So I highly recommend just, you know, participating in things, watching things. You'll get inspiration from anywhere. A lot of games. A lot of games and themes like that. Dark. This one's it's got a little bit of a Diablo kind of vibe. I'm playing a lot of Diablo at the moment. Current season stuff. I think tracks like Clear Skies, there's a few tracks, so Bring Me the Sky, there's a few tracks like that. But they're kind of written from the angle that I always wanted to have my music in a Microsoft Flight Simulator video. They have those, like, you know, videos every now and then that's announcing like a new region they've updated or something like that. And I just love the vibe. I love the vibe of those trailers. It's like, I want to write music for Flight Simulator. So those are the kinds of tracks that one day I wake up and go, oh, I feel like I want to have some uplifting flight music. So that's tracks like Clear Skies come out of that. I don't know. Is that weird? One day they may use it, but they probably won't. I feel like sometimes the whole library, the Creative Commons library, is a bit weird for a lot of people, particularly like in established industries that rely on production music but have very strict ways on how to use it. Like I think the whole Creative Commons thing breaks their brain, so they're just, I think, they don't get used because of that, which sucks, but it's fine too. I'll live with it. You're not wrong, Amanda. I would like to do a remix of Sweden. It's probably my favorite Minecraft track. It's just so chill. Chill and happy. Oh yeah, hard to escape the Lord of the Rings vibes too. True, very true. It's very the March of the Orcs kind of vibe. How do I automate the CC by attribution enforcement? So there's a company that I work with called Frequency Music, and they've got a system that can scan for credits being used in the description of videos. So this is the reason why when you use my music on YouTube, you have to put a credit in the description, because the system is looking for that credit. So if you use the credit, the system goes, okay, they've used my music and they've credited me, so they don't get a claim. So they're done. That's like how it works. Whereas if you don't put a credit in, it just doesn't see the credit and then places a claim. So that's how that works. So it's enforcing it that way. It also means that having my music in there means that hopefully other people don't claim my music in YouTube, which is exactly what the whole reason why I did it. It's still happening every now and then. So there was one that came up this morning. I think The Rise is being claimed by someone. But I got to go and find that. But it's happening a lot less these days, which is good. But I got to still a bit of a pain in the butt sometimes. But it's only on YouTube. The other platforms, it's a free-for-all. I don't know how they work, and they can't help me. Frequency can't help me to sort of enforce anything over there. And it means that sometimes my music does get claimed over there by other people, and I really don't know how to fix it. Because often you don't know who's claiming. They're just YouTube, not YouTube, like Facebook or Instagram. They don't really tell you don't always tell you whose music it thinks it is. It just blocks the video, and that's it. It says your music violates blah 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 blah, and it blocks the video. And it's like, it's really hard to solve issues over there. So I don't know what to do about that. It's a real weird black box. Same on TikTok. It's because they use a different system, a very different system that's not very transparent, which is a pain in the butt. It's the worst thing, dealing with all this stuff. It's the worst thing. For orchestral work, so sorry, I've missed this focus. Do you use Opus Composer Cloud from East West? Yes, I do. I use that a lot. These brasses, the brass instruments you're hearing are all Hollywood brass. It's great. I like them. Really good brass. I'm yet to find, so far, better brass for the sound that I want. And I used to use them for strings too, but I've moved on to performance samples for them now. But still really, really good strings. I have yet to try their new one. They had a Hollywood strings too, right? With like it was more like a chamber string kind of vibe. I've not tried it, but I don't know. It's possibly pretty good. I don't know. But I think if you're looking for something that's like a good starting point, as I was saying before, like finding a good orchestral library that does a lot of things, it's a good starting point for building on, because it gives you a good base to then find more niche libraries to add into it. And so you start tailoring your libraries to the sounds that you want, but you have this good starting base that has all, a lot of the instruments that you're really gonna need for your everyday kind of stuff. Particularly if you're into orchestral things, like I am. Ellis Barros, how you doing? How's life? I'm pretty good. I'm doing alright. Yeah. Although it's nearly lunchtime. Getting real hungry. Skyline, how you going? I'm really good, yes. You like my stuff. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. You may have caught me right at the end of the stream, though. I apologize. Okay. Dark breath. I might just listen to Tubular Bells. Some dongs. Keeping it bell-like. Do you compose straight into the door, or do you sketch first, like complete MIDI mock-up at first attempt, or is longer progress? Always straight into the door. I've never really been able to do the whole sketch idea. Sometimes I do, like I can write down a quick idea for a melody or something, or a motif, but I've really come to be used to the way that I write is in the door, which is good or bad. I don't know whether it's ideal. So part of me is like, I talked about this last stream, it's like part of me is like, am I really a real composer? I'm not really using any notes. I'm not writing things down. It's really, it's weird. It's a weird, like I'm calling myself a composer, but it's like a very new kind of composer, like the way that we write these days, and like a lot of people write, like who are like me, media composers. This is how they write. Like this is how music is made. It just feels like it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, so I get in a complex sometimes. Like, am I a real composer? I just make sounds on the computer. Yeah, I guess I've also been trained to work quickly, particularly when you're working on projects where you need to get something finished and out the door. Working straight into the door generally is the quickest way of doing it. But I'm also very like I don't plan too much. I'm very like I start at the beginning and work my way through. There's not that much like, oh, I feel like I mean, I have ideas. I guess there's, you know, there is, like, if you listen to all my music together, you will notice patterns in the way that I write. You know, there will be certain structures that I use quite frequently, and I think I rely on that a lot when I'm writing, to give me an idea of where the track should go. You know, there's like a, you know, an introduction and then a first verse or something that sounds like a verse, and then a big statement of the main theme, and then it will drop away to something in the middle and then start building up again to a final statement of the theme, and then an outro or something. I do that a lot, where it's like the same sort of things, and so I rely on that sometimes to write quickly, because that's, you know, I know it works. It's worked in the past, it'll work again. But sometimes it would be nice to actually, you know, I should be trying to break the mold a bit one day. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Hans does compose Into the Door too, but he also can write it. You know, he can write at the piano if he wants to. He is a little bit more conventional than some of us, even though he is like the king of door composition, right? He started all of us on this crazy journey. Alan Fescher even uses Cubase? Oh, that makes me feel better. He's far more conventional. I mean, all these guys have teams of people, right? And it's like, you know, it'd be really good to actually find an orchestrator locally to help me try to realize some of these tracks into something that could be played. Because, yeah, that's the thing I struggle with, I guess, is if I wanted like to jump across to like live performance. I don't really. I could do it. I can. I can read notes and I can make notes on a page and that stuff if I need to. But I don't want to. I don't really want to. So it's like it would be good to find someone to collaborate with, I think, to help me do that, because that's something I don't really want to do. George, so what steps would take to release your music under CC BY? So all you need to do is just state your music is released under CC BY. There's nothing you explicitly need to do. There's no like authority you need to notify or anything. You won't, unless you have like the problems I was having with people stealing my music didn't happen until, you know, well into the library being a thing. So it took years and years for people to find my music and start using it to the extent that people decided that they wanted to use it and steal it. It's one of these things where you probably won't have issues for a long time, and then by the time that you're having issues, likely you'll be at a point where you'll be able to find like a company that can help you, say something like Frequency Music, who would be at a point where that you'll be, you know, attractive to them to have them help you deal with the issues. So I wouldn't worry so much. That said, these days you don't necessarily have to release explicitly under CC BY. You can just have an open license. So you can say that, you know, you can use my music as long as you credit me. You don't have to explicitly say it's CC BY. Just have like some sort of, you know, simple license wording that would help you to allow people to use it freely without so much hassle. And it's up to you as well not to enforce these things. So like, you know, for a long time I avoided putting my music in Content ID because that would immediately restrict everybody that use my music. So you needed you need a solution that will allow people to use your music with a credit. So that's why I had to wait until Frequency came along with a solution for me. And so it's up to you as well to kind of avoid doing those extra things a lot of people can do with their music. A lot of people do with their music. That said, I've also found a lot of resistance with particularly various royalties collection organizations. So like my local industry, like performance royalties organization here, APRA AMCOS, weren't super happy with me putting CC BY music into their system, mostly because it's a royalty free music source. But the fact is that like it meant that even royalties that were paid to me as a blanket license, these are royalties that would be paid regardless of what kind of music is used, I wouldn't have access to them. So it's another thing to consider is not actually explicitly releasing your music under CC BY, because it can actually it has a lot of weird stigmas in the industry, and so I wouldn't want to have that for everyone, I don't think. So just think twice, because once you have it under CC BY, it's hard to take it out. You can't really remove the CC BY license. So it's like a in or out kind of situation. It'd be interesting to see. I remember someone got in contact with me. The guy who writes the music for what's that YouTube channel? I forget one of these big sort of documentary style journalism YouTube channels. I forget, but there's a guy who writes the music for his YouTube videos. I forget his name, but they have a library of music that he's written for those episodes, and he wanted to make it available for people to use on YouTube. And he had contacted me about my experiences with CC BY, and I think the route they ended up going down was actually just creating a more like a non-Creative Commons license, but one that was still allowed for more open use by others with a credit. So it's something to think about. Learning like jazz theory and film score harmony on keyboards now? That's awesome, Maple. Also learning to read sheet music, which is the most pain in the butt. I agree. I feel like when I used to be pretty good. When I take out something to look at, it's like I can't do this. Oh, someone knocking? No. Okay. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to play the music. I think someone's knocking at the door. Can't find them. If they were there, they're gone now. You're just knocking in New Zealand, though. That's a heck of a knock. Holy cow. Thank you, Hedley, for the £2. Appreciate it. No worries at all. Thank you for your contributions. Been using music in some of my work with attribution. Appreciate everything you're doing despite the challenges faced. Thank you. It's totally worth it. I want it to be used, and so that it has been really good for me to release it like this. But it's also like it's weird. It's definitely a different route to what a lot of people do, and I really don't think that my music would be as used though. Like if I wouldn't have the same level of success I'm having now if I didn't do this, you know? So it's like, I don't know, man. If I did everything conventionally, I still would be I would probably still be in science, you know? Maybe that's fine. I don't know. Don't play us at 3 a.m. in the morning. No. It's very scary. Guys, I think I might have to finish, but let's have a listen to what we got. But I'm getting really hungry. I need to go and eat food. Shall I play what we've done at the end here? Getting there. Proxen, thank you for the subscribe. And Mel, thank you so much for the $10. Music is the best of all that I use. Thank you very much. You've been paying to use Epidemic and YouTube's still giving you copyright flags? Yeah, I think it's such a minefield out there at the moment. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's really tough for creators at the moment to get. I mean, even using my music, it can be a pain sometimes. Things happen. For your music, when you draw a line between inspiration and derivative, like to take a little track and nuke it into oblivion, ideas progression's been similar if it's not the same track. It's a good question. Like, I mean, I would never tend to use a recording of someone else's work in my own work. That would be big problems. I mean, there is a lot of, like, I think, room for taking certain ideas and inspiration. And I definitely do it in my library stuff. And in Alan Becker's course. Yeah, I don't know. It is tough. It is tough. I think it's like I think you just got to be really mindful about what you're bringing to the piece of music that you're trying to write. I mean, it's one thing, and I totally find and support people like trying to copy a piece of music if they're really fond of the music, to try and figure out how it works and what they're doing to create the mood or the vibe they're going for, to get better themselves, to learn from others. This is how artists have done this for years, for centuries, is just copying other people, and then learning from that. But I think it's just being really mindful about what is you and what is someone else, and being, particularly when you're releasing something, being really mindful about that most of the contribution that's going into this piece of work is you, that it's your idea, and maybe 30%, 20% someone else's idea, as long as you're not wholly lifting ideas. I think it's fine. A lot of people are very most people, I think, are fairly open to that sort of stuff, but you've got to be careful. Some people are really litigious about people using their music. Really scary. So you could get in big trouble. Love the stream. Been listening to several trailer music and not sure how to use the industry works. Audio Machine, Elephant Music, several AI music. If you have any insights, do share. So what do you want to know about the industry? Like writing for trailers or finding music for your own trailers? This might be a specific set of ideas. I have thoughts. I used to work more specifically in the trailer music industry, but back in the late 2000s. So like 2006, 7, 8, that was when I was sort of in the industry. So it's a very different industry these days, I think. It was back then, there wasn't so many libraries. Now there is like 100 billion quadrillion. How they make money and survive. Yeah. So I probably don't have a great insight into it these days. But a lot of libraries tend to have their niche audiences. So they'll have a certain market, I guess they're trying to aim for, and they service them as well as they can. But that said, not all libraries are doing it well, I don't think. So like finding a library that actually gets placements it's really hard to sort through who might be doing well and who isn't doing well. There's a lot of hype, I guess. There's a lot of hype in this industry. But yeah, I think it's probably more finding libraries that also give you good terms. There's a lot of like libraries out there that are out to, get the music, get music in a way that's cost effective to them, particularly when they get placements. There's, so be really mindful about contracts and stuff like that, because some of them are great, some aren't great. But I mean, it's hard to say. Like Audio Machine, I don't know how much they place. Like how much they used to place tons. Like they were like the hit thing back when I was making trailer music. They were brand new and sort of changing up the industry at that time. But it's like I don't know how much they're doing these days. I guess they're still doing a lot. I don't know. But yeah. It's hard to know, really. There is a lot more content these days as well, though. So there's a lot of game trailers being made. There's a lot of YouTube channels needing music that don't always just pay for Epidemic, or use my music. There is still a lot of cable TV shows out there that need placements. There is a lot more content, I think, being made. A lot more TV shows than there ever would be, I guess, before. So much Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff. So there's lots of music to be placed, but it's just who's doing them. I don't know who that would be. What do you think is your music genre? I don't know, George. I had this discussion with my wife the other day. I don't know what I am. It's like some of it. I guess it's like there. I don't know. Maybe if you guys have ideas, that'd be really nice. Because I'm a little bit varied. Some of it's like, just sounds like a soundtrack, right? So it's like soundtrack music, but without a film to go with it. Some of it sounds very like sort of contemporary classical, neoclassical stuff. Some of it's kind of like post-rock ambient. I don't know. I don't know where I fit sometimes. Cinematic. Is cinematic a genre? It's definitely not a genre on Spotify. When you have to submit your music to, so when I submit my music to DistroKid to distribute to Spotify and Apple Music, I don't know what to choose. I end up just every time I just choose pop. I just choose the genre pop because there is literally no way for me I can't put my music into soundtrack because on these platforms soundtrack requires you to actually have it be legitimately a soundtrack for something. So you can't do that. I can't put it into classical because Apple Music and iTunes don't allow people from DistroKid to submit music under classical because apparently this is a protected it's a protected genre that only people specifically from certain, you know, walks of life, I guess, are allowed to produce classical music. So it's not classical. So I just put it under the catch-all of pop. You know, kind of crap, really. I hate it. Contemporary classical is too broad and not defining. I agree. I don't know. Cinematic. They have such specific categories that they claim their users each claim their users like each wrapped in December. Really. I mean, I think Spotify itself is far better at detecting categories than the things that you submit it under through DistroKid or whatever, or TuneCore or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. New Age, that's also one I've been considering, because I know that like Oliver Arnolds releases a lot of his music under New Age, even though it's probably more, I probably would say it's more aligned with like some sort of neoclassical kind of thing. It's New Age. Maybe New Age is the thing. But my music's so varied, you know, like some of it's really like something like 3 Sheets to the Wind versus something like this versus something like I Walk with Ghosts. Like there's so many varied things. So I don't know what I am. I'm just me. I write my music. Hey Rando, how you going? New music, some bells to fit song making. Yeah, need some bells. Well, guys, I'm gonna have some lunch. I think I'm gonna go call it quits for the day. I probably won't be back for the rest of the week because I've got so much to do. I've got game scores to write. I've got a new project I need to start. Secret new project this week. I've got... I'm seeing Sigur Rós on Wednesday night. Guys, I forgot about that. I'm seeing Sigur Rós on Wednesday night. Do you guys know these guys? They're like post-rock band from Iceland. They're the best. Talk about cinematic music. Their music is awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see them. But yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back next Monday, I think. Hopefully I might try and finish this off stream. We might do something else on Monday. We're back on Monday the following week. Maybe something a little less dark. Yeah, Sigur Rós, Jonesy. They are very good. So excited. The music is in How to Train Your Dragon. No way. That's cool. I didn't know that. All right. Thank you very much. I will talk to you soon. Have a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll talk to you soon, okay? Mwah! Bye. Bye.